Hi, you are watching NCC Cadets of India, and in this video, I am going to show you a passing out parade of Indian Air Force Academy. Enjoy this great parade of Indian Air Force Academy.
Try to locate the free falling birdies of the team. Coming in hot like a Halley's comet, piercing the clouds and the blue skies. The members of the team will shortly deploy their parachutes and paint the skies with colorful canopies.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing right now are these jumpers free falling, accelerating as their speed approaches 150 miles per hour. Shortly, all of these jumpers will split apart from the formation, fly away from each other and open their parachutes in split seconds. Look at those colorful parachutes opening in the air, just like blossoming flowers
For
in
a
a garden.
scintillating display of synchronized drill and daring as per their motto, drill to thrill.
As the Air Warrior drill team marches out, you can see the Akash Ganga team marching in.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we now draw your kind attention to your right to witness the solemn movements of the Nishan and casing drill. The President's colors has its history engraved in ancient Indian traditions. In ancient times, whenever any military unit marched, it carried the flag of its king to demonstrate his supremacy. The flag was very significant as, if the army lost its flag to the enemy, it was a humiliation. And if the army captured the flag of the enemy, then it was a matter of pride, honor, and an occasion of victory. The tradition continued during the colonial rule. When the British Army moved across India, the regiments carried their version of king or queen's flag. When India became a republic on 26 Jan 1950, all these versions of the king or queen's flag were laid to rest at Indian Military Academy in Dehradun. These days, the award of President's Colors is the highest honor that can be given to any military.
September 1975 was a red-letter day in the short annals of this academy, which had the proud privilege of being the first non-combat unit of the Indian Air Force to receive colors from Shri Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, the then Honorable President of India, at a parade commanded by Air Commodore Lakshman Madhav Rao Katre, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, who later became Chief of Air Staff.
The Nishan Toli comprises 6 flight cadets who are specially selected for the occasion. Today, the Nishan Toli is being led by Flight Cadet Ronak Hudda, who is the Nishan bearer, followed by Flight Cadet Chetan Bhardwaj, who is the commander. The Nishan is being escorted by UTFO Satvik Samal, Flight Cadet Jay Kumar Tomar, Flight Cadet Ritvik Pandey, and Flight Cadet Pradyuman Shekhawat. Ladies and gentlemen, the parade is about to commence, and in a short while, the sounding of bugle will herald the beginning of the combined graduation parade.
As the parade is now marching in, keeping in step with the famous tune of Sound Barrier. Look at their faces, filled with pride, and eyes shining with determination. As they put their best foot forward, they march today on their way to become worthy officers of the Indian Air Force. Look at the marching contingents of the flight cadets in the blue Air Force uniform, arms swinging, heels digging in, heads held high, proud of the Indian Air Force heritage and motto, touch the sky with glory. Whether in the sky or on the ground, these air warriors would approach their task with confidence, dedication, and pride.
Now, Parade Adjutant, Academy Cadet Adjutant Nitesh Kumar will hand over the command to the Parade Commander, Flight Cadet Tanishk Agarwal. The armed forces perform parades for ceremonial purposes as a show of discipline to display the military might and to instill confidence in the country's military forces. Parade is a powerful aid to inculcate discipline and to develop a sense of military pride amongst the personnel of armed forces. The precision of parade is not only a sign of good discipline and camaraderie, but also a crucial element in raising the standards of military service.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I draw your attention to your right as the Nishan Toli is about to march in before you. When the Nishan Toli is presented arms, all are requested to rise and those in uniform are requested to salute.
देवियों एवं सज्जनों, जब निशान को सलामी दी जाएगी तब आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि आप अपने स्थान पर खड़े हो जाएं और जो वर्दी में हैं वे सलामी दें।
निशान को लेकर चल।
Ladies and gentlemen, the reviewing officer for today's parade, the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Uttam Yuddha Seva Medal, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, Sena Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal has arrived. He is being received by Air Officer Commanding in Chief, Training Command and Commandant, Air Force Academy.
जय जीवन दीक्षांत परेड आपके निरीक्षण के लिए हाजिर है जीवन जय जीवन
The Chief of Defence Staff will now inspect the graduation parade.
जनरल अनिल चौहान परम विशिष्ट सेवा मेडल, उत्तम युद्ध सेवा मेडल, अति विशिष्ट सेवा मेडल, सेना मेडल, विशिष्ट सेवा medal is an alumnus of the National Defence Academy and was commissioned into the 6th Battalion, the 11th Gorkha Rifles in June 1981. With a distinguished career spanning over 44 years, General Chauhan has varied operational experience of most terrain profile and has tenated several critical appointments, including that of the Director General Military Operation and General Officer Commanding-in-Chief Eastern Command. He served as the military advisor to National Security Council Secretariat before being appointed as the second Chief of Defence Staff of the country on 30th September 2022. As the highest ranked military officer, General Chauhan concurrently holds the appointment of Chairman Chiefs of Staff Committee, Secretary Department of Military Affairs, besides tenating the appointment of Chief of Defence Staff.
Now introducing you to the parade commanders. The Parade Adjutant, Academy Cadet Adjutant Nitesh Kumar. Number 1 Squadron is commanded by Academy Cadet Captain Siddharth Maan. Number 2 Squadron is commanded by Women Cadet Captain Pawn Sharmini Rajan. The Nishan Toli is being led by Flight Cadet Ronak Hudda. Number 3 Squadron is commanded by Squadron Cadet Captain Vishal Yadav. Number 4 Squadron is commanded by Women Cadet Adjutant Samiksha Joshi.
As Secretary, Department of Military Affairs, General Chauhan has been instrumental in ensuring strengthening of the department and functional amalgamation into the Ministry of Defence. He has been at the forefront of bringing about reforms in the functioning of Ministry of Defence and has contributed immensely with inputs as initiatives for year of reforms. Department of Military Affairs has successfully facilitated Cabinet Committee on Security's approval for a number of tri-services and service-specific operational reorganization, capability development, sustenance, and human resource cases. A firm believer in India's resurgence potential, he has been a passionate proponent of nation's Atmanirbharta drive. He is married to Mrs. Anupama Chauhan. The couple is blessed with a daughter named Pragya, who is an architect working in Netherlands.
दीक्षांत परेड को मंच से गुजरने की आज्ञा दें श्रीमान। जय श्रीमान। दीक्षांत परेड निकल चल। दीक्षांत परेड कॉलम के कॉलम में मंच से गुजरेगी नंबर 1 कॉल आगे। दीक्षांत परेड दाहिने मुड़।
Now you can see the parade commander marching towards the left to take his position beside the parade adjutant.
The parade is now marching on the tune of Ladaku. When the parade changes from quick march to slow march, the band will play Twilight. हर शिखर अकेले हासिल नहीं होता। साथ मिलकर चलने का साहस कोई गैर नहीं रखता। एक फौजी की पहचान सिर्फ उसके नाम से नहीं होती। कभी पूछ कर देखो तो अपनी टुकड़ी से वे अपना नाम और अपने कर्मों से अपने टुकड़ी की पहचान बतलाते हैं। परेड में शामिल फ्लाइट कैडेट अब आपके सामने मार्च करते हुए अपने कौशल, तालमेल और अनुशासन का प्रदर्शन करेंगे।
Ladies and gentlemen, when the Nishan Toli passes in front of you, all are requested to rise and those in uniform to salute.
देवियों एवं सज्जनों, जब निशान टोली आपके सामने से गुजरती है तो आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि आप अपने स्थान पर खड़े हो जाएं और जो वर्दी में हैं वे सलामी दें। मंच के आगे से गुजरने से पहले परेड निकट लाइन से खुली लाइन में बदल जाएगी और धीमी मार्च करते हुए माननीय रक्षा सेवा प्रमुख का अभिवंदन करेगी।
As the marching contingent approaches the dais, may I now direct your attention to the 3 Chetak helicopter formation led by Wing Commander Deepika Mishra, Vayu Sena Medal, approaching from left to give an airborne salute to the reviewing officer. The parade would once again change formation to close order and continue with quick march to reposition in front of the dais. The band is now marching in front of you, playing the tune Astronaut. composed by Master Warrant Officer J.A. George, Vishisht Seva Medal.
Parade holds great significance in armed forces. The word parade comes from the old tradition of formation combat, in which the soldiers were held in strict formations to maximize their combat effectiveness. Although combat has given way to the coordinated multidimensional application of military force, modern military organizations still use parades on important national events for ceremonial purposes as well as to inculcate self-discipline. It reinforces discipline and esprit de corps and instills sense of pride in uniform. Parade is thus a way of life for the personnel in the armed forces, as it also portrays the might of the country's armed forces and level of war preparedness. As the parade contingent marches by, arms swinging in synchronization, heels digging in, we are proud of the burning desire that the training at the Air Force Academy has kindled in these young trainees.
इन फ्लाइट कैडेट्स के जोश और जज्बे को देखकर माखनलाल चतुर्वेदी की पंक्तियां याद आती हैं कि चाह नहीं मैं सुरबाला के गहनों में गूंथा जाऊं, चाह नहीं प्रेमी माला में बिंद प्यारी को ललचाऊं, चाह नहीं सम्राटों के शव पर हे हरि डाला जाऊं, चाह नहीं देवों के सिर पर चढ़ूं भाग्य पर इठलाऊं, मुझे तोड़ लेना वनमाली, उस पथ पर देना तुम फेंक, मातृभूमि पर शीश चढ़ाने जिस पर जावे वीर अनेक.
After the parade halts, it would present general salute to the Chief of Defence Staff in a reviewing order.
दीक्षांत परेड समीक्षा क्रम में आगे बढ़ेगी राज्य से चल दीक्षांत परेड जनरल सलाट सलाम में शस्त्र दीक्षांत परेड घूमे दीक्षांत परेड पंचायत शस्त्र दीक्षांत परेड घूमे शस्त्र दीक्षांत परेड आयुक्ता के लिए चल
देवियों एवं सज्जनों, अब आप देख सकते हैं फ्लाई कैडेट्स आगे बढ़ते हुए पदवी आयोगन के लिए 3 अनुभागों में मंच के सामने खड़े होंगे। वहीं आपकी दाहिनी ओर से जूनियर कैडेट्स एयर क्रू बैजेस लिए और कमीशन होने वाले फ्लाई कैडेट्स के कैप के सफेद बैंड और कंधे से सफेद फ्लैशेस हटाने के लिए अपना स्थान ले रहे हैं। आज फ्लाई कैडेट्स के 3 अनुभागों को रक्षा सेवा प्रमुख, एयर ऑफिसर कमांडिंग इन चीफ प्रशिक्षण कमान और कमांडेंट वायु सेना अकादमी द्वारा पदवी आयोगन की जाएगी।
जय जीवन दीक्षांत परेड आयोगदान पुरस्कार वितरण और शपथ ग्रहण के लिए तैयार है श्रीमान। जय जीवन।
The trainees being commissioned today are Flying Officer Tanishq Agarwal,
जय जीवन।
Flying Officer Yash Bahuguna,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर कपिल कुमार,
Flying Officer Ayush Sai Prasad,
Flying Officer Thavnaujam Nibesh,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर दिवय,
Flying Officer Divyansh Swarnakar,
Flying Officer Harshvardhan Raj,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर देवांश वत्स,
Flying Officer Ankita Kothari,
Flying Officer Ankush Jha,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर संजय GH,
Flying Officer Sarja Davre,
Flying Officer Aditya Kumar Dubey,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर चिन्मय फतिंग,
Flying Officer Anugriti Istwal,
Flying Officer Harshdeep Singh,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर अनुराग वर्मा,
Flying Officer Tejas Mahashabde,
Flying Officer Nitesh Kumar,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर अनुराग कुमार,
Flying Officer Romit Sharma,
Flying Officer Prashant Yadav,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर विश्वास यादव,
Flying Officer Anand Kumar,
Flying Officer Rudra Pratap Singh,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर आयुष चाहर,
Flying Officer Ritik Bansal,
Flying Officer Trivikram Dwivedi,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर घाड़गे सिद्धि विकास,
Flying Officer Suryash Raghuvanshi,
Flying Officer Mahendra Pratap Singh,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर अंजू पांडे,
Flying Officer Patange Chirag Sagar,
Flying Officer Aniket Thakur,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर अमन शुक्ला,
Flying Officer Pawan Kumar Yadav,
Flying Officer Aditya Dev,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर तुषार पूनिया,
Flying Officer Sriniket Fatangre, Flying Officer Mayank Singh,
फ्लाइंग ऑफिसर आदित्य नीलेश गुजराती,
Flying Officer Yashwardhan Singh Chundawat.
Flying Officer Amit Mankotia.
Flying Officer Nitin Sharma.
Flying Officer SM Abhinav Karthik.
Flying Officer Saksham Kumar.
Flying Officer Mohit Mishra.
Flying Officer Avikesh Chillar.
Flying Officer Pratham Bilgaiya.
Flying Officer Gurmukh Singh.
Flying Officer Ishita Gautam.
Flying Officer Karandeep Singh Patyal.
Flying Officer Ishan Kharra.
Flying Officer Anushika Pawar.
Flying Officer Jagdeep Singh.
Flying Officer Aditya Barnwal.
Flying Officer Ayush Tripathi.
Flying Officer Shivam Shardul.
Flying Officer Tilak Sharma.
Flying Officer Vidhi Jain.
Flying Officer Siddharth Man.
Flying Officer Dinku Soni.
Flying Officer Ankit Vashisht.
Flying Officer Samiksha Joshi.
Flying Officer Saksham Parashar.
Flying Officer Divakar Jaiswal.
Flying Officer Akshat Verma.
Flying Officer Harsh Malik.
Flying Officer Yash Mahajan.
Flying Officer Mohit Sharma.
Flying Officer Meenal Gaur.
Flying Officer Nayak Yash Prasad.
Flying Officer Praveen.
Flying Officer Jayant Jabak.
Flying Officer Chayansh.
Flying Officer Yash Sharma.
Flying Officer Nitesh Chauhan.
Flying Officer Arsh Dhiman.
Flying Officer Tushar Swaroop.
Flying Officer Shubham Rawat.
Flying Officer Ayush Nayak. Flying Officer Sabanyu Bhumi Reddy.
Now, the Chief of Defence Staff would award wings to 6 officers of the Indian Navy, 8 officers of the Indian Coast Guard, and 2 trainees from Vietnam.
Assistant Commandant Aravind R. Assistant Commandant Abhishek P. Jivane. Assistant Commandant Sanjay Singh Bisht. Assistant Commandant Siddhant Gupta. Assistant Commandant Kaustav Biswas. Assistant Commandant Rishabh Joshi. Assistant Commandant V. Ram Mohan. Corporal Wong Jiatrien. Corporal Le Nat Nam Khan. Lieutenant Vishal Singh Tawar, Lieutenant Tanay Kumar, Sub-Lieutenant Raima Sarkar, Lieutenant Abhishek Sharma, Lieutenant Abhay Malik, Lieutenant Ankit Jha,
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the crowning moment for individual achievers, wherein the Chief of Defence Staff would felicitate the award winners. President's Plaque, first in overall order of merit, Ground Duty Officer's Course, goes to Flying Officer Nitesh Kumar of Administration Branch.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Simon.
President's Plaque, first in overall order of merit, Navigation Stream, goes to Flying Officer Saksham Dobriyal.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Simon.
President's Plaque and Navanagar Sword of Honor for standing first in overall order of merit, Flying Branch, goes to Flying Officer Tanishk Agarwal.
Jai Simon. Jai Simon.
The Adjutant Air Force Academy, Group Captain Harpreet Singh Malhotra, will now administer the oath to the newly commissioned officers.
आप मेरे मैं बोलने के पश्चात अपना सर्विस नंबर, रैंक, नाम बोलें और मेरे साथ दोहराएं। मैं ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची निष्ठा और वफादारी रखूंगा और मैं भारतीय संघ की भारतीय वायुसेना में सेवा के प्रति वचनबद्ध रूप में ईमानदारी और विश्वसनीयता के साथ सेवा करूंगा और जहां भी आदेश किया जाए हवाई, भूमि या समुद्री मार्ग से जाऊंगा और अपनी जान की आखिरी सांस तक भारत के राष्ट्रपति और मेरे ऊपर रखे गए किसी भी अफसर के सभी आदेशों को मानूंगा और उनका पालन करूंगा।
जय श्रीमान। दीक्षांत परेड आपके अभिभाषण के लिए तैयार है श्रीमान।